Interesting times in Panama. Uh, Trump got thumped in the chest by Xi on the BlackRock deal. A lot of Americans, by the way, who don't want China anywhere near the canal are even more concerned that BlackRock will get it because BlackRock seems to be as anti-American as China. And so, in any case, we'll talk about that in a minute. But also, the U.S. Army is out here delivering something to a place called Isla del Rey, which has the Panamanians talking today. That's it with the red dot on the map. Let's talk about that for a minute, and then we'll get started with the BlackRock. But see the red dot on the map right there is Isla del Rey. There's only about 1,600 people live there. Very primitive condition. But there's also a prison out there that some people have called the Guantanamo of Panama. And it's I don't know what they would be doing out there, but maybe they're planning on using that island for something.
El día de hoy continuamos con cargas de bolsas de comida por parte de Lima, donde la comunidad de La Esmeralda va a ser beneficiada con más de 800 habitantes en esta comunidad. Igualmente, la carga de un generador eléctrico para la comunidad, ya que eso va a ser de mucha importancia para esta comunidad, ya que tiene más de 40 años sin luz eléctrica.
Las misiones humanitarias sirven como un mecanismo práctico para mejorar la coordinación logística y operativa y estar listos para cualquier desafío en el futuro.
Okay, before we talk about Trump and Xi and BlackRock, let's talk about why is the Army out on Isla del Rey, bringing in their Blackhawks with food and generators and whatever else they're doing out there. This is the canal. This is Cologne side. That's the Atlantic side. Going down the canal now, you'll see this is the Pacific side. That's where I'm at now. So look how close the island is to this. So there's Isla del Rey right there. So that red dot is Isla del Rey. Now, down here is a runway, and there's a prison there. And some of the left-wingers have called this the Guantanamo of Panama. So that's the prison right there. You can see news reports about it. That's a high-security prison, mainly because you're on this island. And so there that is. Now, will this be used again and expanded? I have no idea. Will this island be used for sending people back to their home countries who've been arrested in the United States? I have zero idea. And but as you can see, it's well situated if you're going to run ops out of here if you're going to do something. Now there's a town up here. That's in the middle of the jungle out there, and then there's another town coming up here to the top of the island, and there's a runway there. And so that's a nice little runway, obviously quite small. And then there's a runway over here to the left, which is derelict, but the engineers could quickly make that work again. They could quickly make a runway out of anywhere here, basically. But here is to the left, one more. And keep in mind, this is just a short distance from Darien as well. And there you go. So what is the Army doing out there? I don't know. The Army's always here. But it's in the news today, and the Panamanians are talking about it a lot because people are getting a little jittery, and people are starting to expect a higher chance of something happening regarding the BlackRock. That's Darien. That's where I spend months at a time down there. So that's where the invasions happen mostly. But so there we go. One thing that's important to keep in mind is that China has put a tremendous amount of effort into stealing the canal from us. I found a book the other day in Spanish. I found 5 books actually. And one of them, they're bragging about using the United Nations to help take the canal from us. And they're bragging about helping the revolution in 1964. Their own students in China were demonstrating publicly in support of the people here, and they were materially helping in the revolution to throw us out. And again, in one of these books, they're actually bragging about using the United Nations to take the canal, which is exactly what they're doing today with Diego Garcia. They're trying to use the United Nations to take Diego Garcia and give it to Mauritius and then take Mauritius. That's what they've done with the canal. Take the canal from America, quote unquote, give it to Panama, and then eventually, like a boa constrictor, squeeze out Panama and take the canal. There's a lot more going on that meets the eye. For instance, the sister city of Panama City, Panama, is Nanjing. That's very important. Keep that in mind for later. We'll talk about that some other time, but that's very important. And I think out of 10,000 people, maybe one person might be able to tell you why that's important, and I'll tell you later. But let's get on to the BlackRock thing. Now, obviously, with BlackRock, there was the big deal that, BlackRock is going to take it, and it's back in the hands of Americans. Many Americans were extremely upset that BlackRock was going to get it, even though they don't want China to have it, because they see BlackRock as the near enemy, and as some of the Muslims would say, and China as the far enemy, right? And they always say the near enemy is far more dangerous, and that's a truism of warfare, actually. BlackRock wants to continue the invasions into the United States, for instance, and they pushed the death jabs. So, and DEI and the whole works, right? So that's just the way it is. There was a lot of huffing and puffing recently and chest thumping from Americans saying, see, we took the canal back from China, which was, it's so nonsensical, I don't even know where to start. So at the end of the day, there was a lot of talk that BlackRock has now taken it back, which is complete nonsense. China are serious players. They are here to take the canal, right? They have been working on this for generations now, to take the canal, even while America, Kissinger and Nixon were, starting to open up to China and funneling all of our business over to China, which has happened generation after generation. And now, what did they do with it? They took our canal, right? And they're taking a lot more than that. They're invading the United States through Panama, through Bahamas, through Canada, right? And they've invaded Canada already. So this is no joke. And at the end of the day, the deal has not gone through with BlackRock. It may not go through with BlackRock. And Xi has a lot more tricks up his sleeve. Okay, I'm going to close this out. This is a time lapse. I've made so many out on the canal and around Panama. I'm going to watch Masako right now. It's getting about midnight here in Panama, and Masako is going to a major farmer protest over in Japan. So I want to watch this live from Japan. Masako was on this boat today, actually. I think I might have had Brett Weinstein that day too, and Chris Martinson. I'm not sure. But so anyway, thank you for your support. Thanks for monetary donations. Definitely need them. And it's going to get serious down here.